Hey guys, so if you watch our vlog at all, you know that we stay in a lot of different Airbnbs. So we thought it would be kind of fun to kind of recount some of the more interesting places that we've encountered through our travels. And if you guys like it, then maybe we can make it like kind of an ongoing series or something like that. So story number 1. So this story takes place in New York. We were traveling with a friend of ours, Nikita, the 3 of us, and we booked a room in an Airbnb in Williamsburg. And it was a classic case of looked really nice in the pictures, but then when you got there was kind of like a layer of grime over everything.
I feel like all of our New York Airbnbs have.
Yeah, they've all been a little bit grimier than they look in the pictures, but so this one was pretty rough and it was pretty dirty, but there were no bugs or anything like that, so no big deal. But so we get in there and it turns out there's a bunch of other guests staying in all the other rooms, which we weren't really aware of. But one thing we weren't aware of as well was that our host had a roommate who I guess lived on the couch or something, but she slept all day. So every single day she was just literally completely passed out on the couch. But so we figured out when we came home one night at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and she was wide awake and all talkative, and she was completely drunk off her ass.
Oh, just trash.
So, and we realized we stayed there for a week and this was her routine every single day. So she would just sleep all day and then get up at night, drink her ass off, and then be completely blitzed. So it made for some really interesting conversation when we would come home. We'd be a little tipsy, but nowhere in the level that this girl was. And one time I was in the restroom and it's like 2 a.m. or something, we'd just gotten home, and she just starts banging on the door and rattling the handle and knocking on it and yelling all this gibberish. I can't understand what the hell she's saying. So that was a pretty bad experience, but something interesting happened when we left the Airbnb. So the host had her own bedroom just down the hall, and as we were walking out, we were looking forward, trying to be like, you know, we wanted to say bye or thanks or something.
Yeah.
And I kind of walked by her door, and her door's wide open, and she's just butt naked, sprawled out on her bed, and I was like, oh. And I'm glad we didn't wake her up because it would have been extremely awkward, but I thought about being like, hey, you're naked and your door's wide open and there's like 5 people staying in this place.
Yeah. But she got up later and had a very thin robe on, so I don't think she would have cared as much as we would have.
She was a bit of a free spirit.
But they did have, what was it? That cat that was there was pretty
Yeah, they had a
cool.
really cute little cat. I missed the cat.
Yeah,
but
it was nice.
Yeah, so that was a pretty fun experience. Story number 2.
Oh yeah. So we went to book a place, and this was my first time realizing that on the last page of booking, there's this little expand section that says house rules. I'd never read it before, and I noticed that it was there, so I clicked on it for the first time, and I start reading, and it said, no filming on the premises without permission. And
so naturally we were like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, like
we film everything,
vlog,
so that's
and
not gonna work.
Uh-oh. So I send her a message, and I'm like, hey, we're wanting to stay, and I was like, we're starting to vlog though full time, so your place will be in it, but like, cause I thought she meant like she just didn't.
Yeah, like she didn't want her place on YouTube or something like that.
Something, I don't know. So she gets back to us and she said, oh, if you could send me a link to your video, that'd be great. Really what I meant is no shooting pornos in my home without my permission. Apparently. That's
I don't know.
Her fear in life.
Did she ever say like if that had happened to her?
No,
and that's
she
why
never
she was afraid
gave
of it?
context or anything. She just said, I just want to make sure. So I sent her a link, and I was like, we will definitely not be doing anything scandalous at all. Like, the most is we'll be in our pajamas. Like, I don't. But apparently she had very specific artwork in her home that she thought could get tied back to her if any of her friends or family saw her artwork in a porno, and then they could, I don't know.
Yeah, it was very weird. And I guess people hear stories of like things like that happening in Airbnbs. People like having orgies and shooting pornos, I guess. So maybe that spooked her a bit.
Yeah, she was a bit goofy in general. We never met her. It was all like via Airbnb and text, but it actually ended up being the coolest house I think we've stayed in, or like the nicest.
It was really great. That was a pretty unique place and unique experience.
So be careful, read the rules if you're wanting to shoot pornos.
That's the moral of the story. Now we always read the house rules because you never know what's going to be written in there. And if you're looking to shoot a porno at your next Airbnb, there might be stipulations against that.
Ask first, I guess.
Yeah, ask first before you shoot a porno.
Yeah, just be nice about it.
Story number 3. So we're going to shift gears to the opposite end of the spectrum. Not all of our experiences have been really weird, but this one was a nice, fun, pleasant experience. We recently stayed in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and this is like a super unique, fun little coastal town. We were just staying there for like 2 nights, so we had a full day there to hang out. So we got there at night. When we woke up the next day, we went to meet the hosts. It was a nice little, cool little cabin, and across the street from it, they had like a gallery where they sold pieces of art that they made.
It was like a community gallery, so there were a bunch of different artists in there selling stuff. It was really cute. Yeah.
So we went over and met the two of them, and they were super nice, and they invited us to go on, apparently they had a boat, and they invited us to go on like a little sunset cruise in the bay. So we were like, hell yeah, of course we're gonna do that. So nighttime rolls around, they show up with a little golf cart, and we hop on the back of it, and they drive us like a little half a mile down to the dock. And so we hop on their boat, we take this super nice cruise, they hand us beers and stuff, and they were super chill people, super nice. And as we rode around, they told us all the history of the place, and it's completely changed because the whole place was destroyed in Katrina. So they were telling us like what houses survived and like how houses have changed, and these houses were gigantic, first off.
Yeah, they're all up on stilts, which if you have never been down like south to coastal towns, like everywhere, Florida and all along Louisiana and Mississippi, they're all up on these awesome stilts. I mean, I guess they have to be.
We learned that they made laws that people have to build on stilts now because you get flooded out if you don't. So every single house is on stilts in some areas down there.
Coming from like Missouri though, you don't see that, so it's very cool for us.
Yeah, it's very true. But they told us all this history. It was like a guided tour or something. So they're telling us all this history as we were driving through it. So then we turned back after the sun had set, came back into the port, and they had this little Admiral's Club or something like that. So we went up in there, met with all of their friends, and hung out and chucked oysters.
Yeah.
And they got us beers and everything. It was a super cool experience.
Yeah, it was just so random. They were just so like nonchalant about it. Like,
they were so nice.
Hey, do you just want to go on our boat? Hey, do you want to go to the yacht club and like hang out with our doctor who brought a bunch of oysters for you to shuck by hand?
It had a super small town vibe. Everybody knew each other and everyone was super nice.
And the next day we get up to go to breakfast and we passed the couple that hosted us as well. And then when we got to the restaurant, there was a family from the night before.
So we had met everyone in the town. We were literally strolling through like, hey Bob, hey Bill. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
But we actually vlogged that day too.
Yeah.
I'll put the link to it in the description below the video, so you guys can watch that if you want to scope out that adventure and see it more up close and personal.
Yeah.
But so those are our Airbnb stories. If you found this interesting or fun, it'd be cool if you could like and share it and all that good stuff. If you want to, leave some comments below and tell us if this is cool or if it's not cool or what we could do differently. All right, but thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.